One of the greatest to ever do it is hanging up her clipboard. Tara VanDerveer has officially announced her retirement from Stanford women's basketball. What is up, awesome people of the internet? I got a quick one for you. Just to let you know, you heard me right. After a total of 1,216 wins over the span of 45 years, it was announced yesterday that Tara VanDerveer is retiring. You probably know Tara most as the head coach of Stanford, where she spent 38 years as the head coach of the Cardinals, leading the squad to 3 NCAA championships, one in 1990, 1992, and 2001. She also appeared in 14 Final Fours. This year, Stanford made it to the Sweet 16 before losing to NC State, 77-67. One thing to note is that Tara's last win as the head coach of Stanford was actually in front of her home crowd at Stanford. So that was kind of cool in the second round of the NCAA tournament this year. But before Tara arrived at Stanford, she was the head coach of Idaho from 1978 to 1980. And she was also the head coach of Ohio State from 1980 to 1985. Before heading over to Stanford, where she basically has stayed ever since, though she did step away from Stanford for a season to coach the 1996 Olympic Games as the head coach for the women's national team for America. If you're wondering, that Olympic team did win the gold, the first of 7 straight, still counting, for Team USA women's basketball. And that 1996 win was in Atlanta and is credited to have spurred the start of the WNBA. So when we talk about the WNBA, we have to acknowledge what Tara VanDerveer did as the head coach of the 1996 squad. As a coach, she was a very strategic coach and was able to develop players and get the most out of them. She's coached some amazing players, from Candace Wiggins to Nneka Ogwumike to Jennifer Azzi, and more recently, Cameron Brink. And she's a straight up winner. She's the winningest coach in college basketball of all time, male or female. In her time as a coach, she finished with an all-time record of 1,216 wins and 271 losses. That's a record of 81.8%. That is amazing. That is an amazing record, percentage record that you don't see very often in the coaching ranks. Not only did she win, but she also led to the revitalization of the Pac-12 for women's basketball. And she did that by dominating. She won 27 conference regular season titles. She also won 15 conference tournament championships for Stanford. She was winning so much for Stanford that it forced the rest of the conference to compete and build a roster worthy enough to actually beat Stanford. And it paid off with a whopping 7 Pac-12 teams this season entering the NCAA tournament. The Pac-12 is back. They were back this year. And it feels like a good time for Tara to retire. She's been coaching, again, for a very long time. Conference realignment is here, and it's decimating the Pac-12, as 10 of the schools will officially leave to go to the ACC, the Big Ten, or the Big 12. Now, if you're wondering where specifically Stanford is going next season, they're going to the ACC. So they're going to be going from the West Coast to the East Coast quite a bit, which is a lot of travel for players. Women's basketball has changed. We now have NIL as a determining factor for some players on where they will go. Players can enter the transfer portal and play right away, all of which makes it harder for old school coaches like Tara VanDerveer. So the timing makes sense. She leaves the game as a head coach, but she still will be involved in Stanford women's basketball because she will serve as a advisor for the athletics department for Stanford. Now, if you're wondering, her last day is going to be on May the 8th, and that date is special to her because that will be her 39th anniversary of her original hire at Stanford. A press conference is going to be later today at 1 p.m. Pacific time for officially announcing the retirement. And I will likely have press coverage on the channel after that press conference is over. So be on the lookout for more info, clips from the press conference, all that good stuff. And if you're wondering, Kate Payne, who actually played for Tara from 1991 to 1995, she's also been on staff at Stanford for the last 17 years. She will become the next head coach of Stanford, and she will be the 5th head coach for the program in general. And her first season will be next season, the 2024 through 2025 season. Guys, that is the news. That is the breaking news. Tara VanDerveer is retiring. Thank you also so much for watching the video. Thank you also for the Patreon members who are actively supporting this channel every single month. Thank you so much for your financial support. If you want to support this channel, you can do so at patreon.com/Quita Loves Sports. Now, I'm curious, guys. Let me know what you're thinking about Tara retiring. Do you think it was perfect timing? Like, I personally think it was really, really good timing for her to leave. It was a factor of things. As I said, NIL, transfer market, the fact that Stanford next season is going to be going cross-country almost every week. That's a lot of wear and tear. And I think it also makes sense that Cameron Brink is leaving. Cameron Brink was very, very close to Tara VanDerveer, so it makes sense that after Cameron Brink declares for the WNBA draft, Tara announces her retirement. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. But let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think it makes sense? What do you think is the future of Stanford women's basketball? Also, do you think that we'll see more coaches retire in the next 1 to 2 years, especially some of the older coaches in women's basketball? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, guys, bye.